Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Business Growth Show, where we talk about all components of business and how to utilize them for exponential growth. My name is Athin Cassiotis. I'm a serial entrepreneur, international speaker, results strategist, business coach, mentor, and consultant. Today, I have an awesome guest. She is an entrepreneur, TV personality, NLP life coach, and shadow healer. She helps women heal, find peace and freedom with the past, thrive in their higher selves, and creates room to build success. Welcome, Bettina Banks, and thank you for being on my show.
Thank you so much, Athin. What an amazing introduction. I've got goosebumps running up and down my body. So whatever I'm feeling right now is all energy. So this vibe, this energy of what we're doing is meant to happen. I'm so happy to be here and just be on your show. I've been watching your show from, a mile away, and I was just asking myself, when am I actually going to be on Athin's show? And it's happening. So thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome, and great to hear about the lovely energy. And I'm sure, everyone's going to feel the lovely energy today. I'm going to provide so much value for everyone. So, you're always going to be on the list, Bettina. We're just, putting out a few kinks in the show first and make sure we'll show it to its full extent now. So, you're a very successful entrepreneur. So for those people who don't know who you are, please introduce yourself by telling us about you and your journey.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm a life coach, as Athin mentioned. I have credentials such as NLP, and also I deal with psychology as well. I'm certified in timeline therapy and also shadow work. So what shadow work is, it's actually a quite spiritual mindset development that is hidden under life coaching itself. Shadow work it's all about the darkness within you. When we try and create success, Athin, if we have hate, if we have those negative emotions running in our body, there's never going to be enough room for success in our everyday lives. It's all about making peace within yourselves, accepting yourself fully, and then being able to move forward in life, right? So the reason why I do what I do is because I had a few shadows of my own. I'm talking meeting along the ways of being able to connect with witches and shamans. So that's why I do incorporate that spiritual aspect into everyday life and business. So I've been doing it for 2 years now. This is my second year. I have a 6-week course available, a 12-week course available, and also a one-on-one mentorship available. In the first year of my coaching business, in my 12-week course, which is what I developed at first, I actually healed over 50 women and successfully healed 50 women. And when I say healed, guys, no one is ever completely healed, but to start the journey of healing itself is the foundation for success. So thank you so much again for having me, and I cannot wait to talk to you about this more. But that's what I do, everybody, and I hope you understand all of that. But if you don't, happy for you to reach out and connect.
I love it. Yes, you're definitely on an amazing journey now, and really in that purposefulness. I can definitely feel that from you, and on what you're doing and how you're helping others. And if we go a little bit, I guess, back in the story, and firstly, you got on the TV show My Kitchen Rules, right? Showcase your cooking talents. So I guess tell everyone a little bit about that. What did you learn, from that experience, and how has it helped you in business as well?
Before I became a My Kitchen Rules girl, I was actually in the midst of becoming an influencer and also an events manager. So I dealt with a lot of people, personalities already. So I did have a portfolio online, being an influencer and being your MC and events manager. And before I actually went on the show, I was asked a couple of times to show off my cooking skills. Behind the camera, everyone just thought that I was, a normal everyday girl. And when my best friend found out that I'm also a cook, he just asked me time and time again to go, okay, Betty, we need to showcase these skills. We need to showcase these skills, and whatever it is that it may bring. I know that you don't want to become a full-time chef or a cook. It's going to really help you boost your profile and what you do. And I got on. Athin, to be honest with you, it was as simple as filling out my name in a form, getting a phone call in a week's time and going, we love what you do, Betty. We love what you're all about. Please come on the show. What I learned being on MKR is that not everything is real when you're watching reality TV. So don't take my word for it, but secretly, don't believe in everything you see on reality TV. How that's helped me with my business is definitely the domain of reach, because there is such a different reach when it comes to television and the type of people. as well. And also the resilience of just pushing, the resilience of filming 12 to 14 hour days was something that I built on MKR, and being able to use that resilience in my business today, Athin, was me successfully making a mark, right? And being able to beat 100 grand in 75 days was something that was so monumental for me. I can tell myself that that was definitely the resilience mindset as well. So MCAT was such a big part of my life, guys. Unfortunately, I don't cook for everybody. I only cook for people that I love, which means I cook for friends and family. So if you want to be my friend, I am going to be able to cook for you. But honestly, I would not change it for the world, Athin. Like, I think it's an opportunity and an experience of a lifetime. So if anyone wants to do it, do it. It's just something that's going to help you build momentum in mindset and willpower and resilience in the long run.
Yeah. I love that. And he's so very powerful. Like, how mindset is. And like you said, the long days, it's like having a business, right? Sometimes we have to work 12-hour days in our business, and whether, hopefully we're in a business that we love as well. So it doesn't really feel like that, but, we need to put in those extra hours, whether it's staying up later or waking up earlier. Sometimes, we don't always want to do that. So that's an amazing thing that you've built. And I think the other part, like you touched on, was about the branding, right? About, how important branding is, and obviously being on TV and stuff like that is, we want to be able to differentiate ourselves, right, out there from the competition. So how can we do that? And there's a lot of different ways to do that. And, we talk about a lot of branding in other episodes, but, that definitely has, put you out there from different. So like Bettina said, if you get the chance to do it, then why not?
Yeah, it's really going to help you boost your profile and creating that authority figure that we always talk about in our market, right? So what's that piece of difference that you're going to bring to the table? And I know that most people think that branding is just one particular thing, but it's about the relationship you have with your community, right? It's not just how you look. It's about how you actually perceive to your community and how the community perceives you. I think when it comes to people going, oh my gosh, Betty, you used to be on MKR. How does that align with your business today? Well, you know me because of being on MKR. So thank you for following me. I still cook, but I don't cook every day. But I'm also a life coach now. So how can I help you? So it's nice to also have that on my portfolio. Athin, I would never expected it to really help me. I actually thought I was just going to go on it for fun. To be honest with you, I love food like everybody else. I wanted to challenge myself as well to cook every single day for 6 months. Yes, MKR was filmed for 6 months before it came out on TV. So I would not change it for the world. It definitely helped me with my branding. It definitely helped me with my authority, with my niche, and also adding that spice into your branding. So when people look at me now, they still see the Betty on MKR. Yes, they call me Betty still, but they do know me for she's Bettina. She was Betty on the show. So yeah, don't hold back and just go for gold and do it. That's my advice.
I love it. That's anything in life really is, don't hold back with anything, and just take a chance. You never know where it's going to lead, right? When we say yes. So I really love that. And, I love, you sort of touched on it initially about this thing about shadow work. And I know Carl Jung, right, is, the one that first made us aware of our shadow self and that. So can you let everyone know a little bit more about, I guess, how it eventuated and things like that about it?
I guess when it comes to shadow work, you will have to experience it yourself. And when you experience it yourself, and when you try and get all the help that you need, and when you find a breakthrough and that peace that comes with that breakthrough, you just want to share it with the rest of the world. And that's what actually happened to me. I was going through shadow work myself, and yes, Carl Jung is someone that I look up to highly. If you guys don't know who he is a psychologist, and he dabbles into ego work, he dabbles into shadow work. And what shadow work means is there's another part of you that is still unacknowledged that you actually hate. And I know it's weird as this sounds, but everyone's like, oh, how do you hate yourself? Guys, there are sometimes stories that we attach ourselves to that we still find hard to understand why we're like that in a specific scenario or in a particular problem. If we talk about triggers as well, that's a side of your shadow self, right? Not everybody is able to find peace in what people do, and that's okay. It's just it's a gift for us to learn about ourselves and about our shadow selves, especially how we can handle certain situations better, which immensely means to do the internal work and understand ourselves better, for us not to be so reactive. So when it comes to shadow work, guys, it's all about that. It's all about holding space for that darkness and not being aware of it. And the only time that you're aware of it is when you're triggered by something. And it's in that trigger is when we can formulate the way we want to be able to heal that trigger and understand ourselves better, whether it's letting that other person know or for you to make a change within yourselves to outgrow that shadow and using it for good in the long run. So I always say this, every single time there's shadow within you, there's space for you to create success. Every single time you hold a space of darkness within you, there's an opportunity for light to come through. Yeah. Shadow work is a beautiful process where you can really help accentuate the love that you have for yourself, especially with your mindset. It starts with your mindset, right, Athin? So when you actually harness and understand where you're at with your triggers or your shadows, or if you want to overcome that dark part of yourself, that's where shadow work comes into play. It's all about acceptance. It's all about forgiveness. It's all about understanding as well, but understanding the value in the outcome of that shadow.
I love that. That was such an amazing point there about, how it all is. And it's interesting, the triggers, right? And like, the way for people that are more business focused, right? Another word can sometimes be emotional intelligence, right? Is not to just react when people do something, right? Especially in the business sense, but at the same time, you don't necessarily, want to just suppress the emotion. What Bettina is saying is to actually explore that and see how we can work through that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because how many times have we actually repressed an emotion and build on that emotion? And when something actually happens in our business, it brings that emotion out. And it actually makes us stop in what we do and push ourselves to the point where we stress out so much and we become overwhelmed and completely not do anything about it, right? Or we push it aside, keep doing what we're doing, but then again, it will come out bigger in the future. So I'm talking about understanding why that emotion happened in the first place and what it is that you can do about it for you not to actually grow upon that emotion. Because repressing it just makes it even worse, Athin. Yeah. It doesn't give you the peace of mind and the freedom that you can actually create in your business.
Definitely. I love that. And yes, we definitely don't want to repress things because you never know when they're going to come out. And, if something is a big trigger as well, then it could potentially damage relationships and things like that if it's happening with other people. So, we definitely don't want that to happen. So, and how do we if obviously it sounds like this is something that we need, I know with coaching in general, with mindset and this and shadow work, that we need somebody else more necessarily, but is there something that, we can start to understand of how we can do shadow work and things like that?
Everybody should have a journal, and regardless of what that journal is or has in it, it's meant for you to have all your thoughts in it. The first part of shadow work is realizing you would have these thoughts, these feelings, and writing it out on paper. A part of my coaching, and I actually always tell my clients this, it's better out than in. Scientifically, we have 80,000 thoughts running through our brain, minimum, every single day. So if you don't make sense of what it is that you're actually thinking about, your emotions therefore attach a story to whatever it is that you're going through to make you feel that sense of overwhelmed. So the first part to shadow work is being reflective. If you're reflective, you understand and you're able to make sense of what it is that's actually happening to you. The second step to after being reflective is actually doing something about it. Whether if that's you moving, whether that's you expressing it, whether that's you talking about it, that's the next step of doing. The third thing is actually accepting it and realizing that you actually have a problem, and it's okay for you to have a problem, because it's through acceptance is you overcoming it and integrating that a part of your system and going, okay, I do have a problem. So how do I deal with this in the long run? Because I don't want it to happen anymore. Lastly, what's important is realizing if you do get triggered by that emotion or that story, always have a backup plan in how you should be reacting. So flip your actual reaction and be proactive about it.
I love that.
It's going to take some time for you to be able to do your own shadow work, but it's nicer to have someone else talk you through it, because your emotions come out. And when your emotions come out, sometimes you don't make sense of it, Athin. Yeah?
Yeah.
But it's also beautiful. It's also a beautiful way for you to start is just journaling and getting into the top of understanding your emotions itself. So you know that you're not going to have a random outburst in the future.
Definitely. I love that. And I like that you were saying about the acceptance. It's like, I have actually a problem here. And that's tough for a lot of people, right? That to actually say that to themselves and say, this is what it is. A lot of people are just like, oh, whatever. And, it's, as you know, in like NLP, right? Perception is projection, right? So a lot of people think, oh, the other person has the problem, where it's actually ourselves that has the problem.
Because we have a choice on the day. Is it to blame others and to keep blaming others and to shift blame and be supported by shifting that blame? Or are we able to bring the power back into that blame into ourselves and understand that we can actually do something about it? So with NLP and shadow work, there are so many similarities, especially living in cause and effect. Shadow work is all about that, but it happens on that deeper level of getting you to understand why you're blaming in the first place, or why you're living in effect in the first place instead of living a cause. Right? So when it comes to understanding and harnessing that you can actually choose to accept that you actually did something wrong, even though you're blaming, there is a moment in time for you to actually overcome that and to bring power back to you. Because realistically, when you're blaming Athin, you're actually giving power to the other person. That's what you're doing. So in business, if something goes wrong and you've got your own business, are you to blame or you blame your clients? Right? Yeah. It's about us. So shadow work has so many similarities in what I do in business as well, because it does reflect on our emotional regulation and our emotional well-being in our business well-being, right? Because you can't have one or the other. Otherwise, you're just going to fake it till you make it and be a fraud in the long run. And then you got to live the fraud life. Who wants to do that?
Yeah, that's not a fulfilling life, definitely.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
I love that. Yeah, so many awesome points there. And we definitely want to move into the cause element of, we are the master of our destiny. And if there are things that hold us back, because, we all know, or, that we have a lot of limiting things, right? From when we've grown up, right? Whether it's from our parents, from other people, these triggers and everything like that. So I think part of our journey here is actually to understand that and evolve, right? We're here to, become better people, to make it a better world, right? And that's where, people like you and myself and a lot of others are here to be like, okay, we're going to help people in our own different ways of doing this to help them move forward in that. And it's really powerful. We've got a movement like that.
The biggest quote that I've ever was gifted was from our mentor as well. And it's something I use every day with my shadow work, because shadow work is all about acceptance, forgiveness, and being thankful, right? If you're never thankful of that trigger, it means you've never learnt the lesson. And that stuck with me until today, because that's what I teach. If you're never thankful of that emotion, it means you never learnt the lesson. That means it's always going to be a shadow for you. It means that someone's going to be able to push your buttons, no matter how successful you are. And I always get this, but no matter how successful you are, people are out there to always try and trigger you, to always bring you down. So imagine you're so successful and you have all these shadows and triggers under you. That means anyone can come at you and say anything and you actually become really reactive towards it. Or you can be so successful and be at peace with all your mistakes and all your hatred or all your judgment. So when someone does bring it up as an example, you're able to be proactive about it instead of reactive about it. And I always say that if that trigger has never been the lesson, it's because you're never thankful for it. So what is it that you've got to be thankful for? So thank you, Richmond Din, for for gifting me with that quote. And it's a quote that I live by and my clients live by too. So if you're never really grateful or thankful for that trigger or for that lesson, you never really learned that lesson. And that's something we can carry on in our business life as well.
Yeah, I love that. Very powerful. Definitely recommend people to really embrace that and make that a thing in their life to actually ask that question every day and do some self-analysis, right? Whether it's in the journal or just in general in our minds and saying, okay, this happened in this situation. Why did that happen? Okay, I'm thankful for that. Now I know what I need to work on.
Yeah, 100%. And how much more success can you gain by being thankful from that lesson, right? I don't know if you guys want to do this, but this is probably a tool that you can use for yourself. You know how in business, how we do our own SWOT analysis for our business? We can actually do our own personal SWOT analysis on ourselves. It's our strengths, our weaknesses, our opportunities, right?
And threats, yeah.
And threats, our own threats. So our threats actually lies within our limiting beliefs. Yeah?
Yeah.
So if you can actually harness your threats and understand your threats, you actually harness your own shadow work and limiting belief. So if you want to do it from a business aspect, I gift you with doing your own SWOT analysis.
I love that. That's never heard that before. I've definitely done SWOT in business, but on ourselves, very powerful.
Very powerful
way of looking at it, and that really helps us to bring that awareness to ourselves, right? Because you take that time to think, and then sometimes you probably have to think about certain experiences, right, in the past, and then you can add it into that. And yeah.
So if you really want to start that shadow work and see your own self-worth into your triggers, start with the SWOT analysis, guys. It's going to do you so much good, and to be able to sit and just analyze yourself is just an extra step that you can do for yourself to just regulate properly. Yeah, emotionally regulate properly. I think when it comes to emotions, I want you guys to all understand this as well. Our emotions aren't us. That's not who we are. Our emotions are signs for us to work on ourselves. Whether you're happy, whether you're sad, whether you've got anxiety, whether if you've got depression as well, they're just signs that your body's giving you for you to be able to reflect, for you to sit with yourself and to help yourself overcome what it is that you need to do. Yeah. A lot of people get the two and two confused, Athin. And it's like, I'm always angry, hence as to why people call me like angry all the time. Well, what are you actually angry about? You're not just an angry person, but what are you actually angry about? What do you get angry about? Oh, I get angry because I don't have enough money coming through the business. Well, you're not angry. It's because you're not having money coming through the business. So how can you work on that? So it's all about breaking that down as well. And when it comes to shadow work, it's all about the same thing. A lot of people define themselves and find identity in that emotion. But realistically, it's a sign for you just to be better, to keep swimming, is what I say.
I love it. Finding Nemo style, just keeps
Finding Nemo style works all the time.
It does. And that's like life and business, right? With everybody, we're all going to have challenges. We don't just become successful from day one, right? There's a journey of ups and downs as we go along. And whether that's just business sort of challenges or from a personal perspective, which is actually the one that actually, is directly relevant to the success of the business. Because if we have certain blocks and we get triggered by things and certain emotions, and that has a direct, effect. And, we all know, or, just bring it to your attention that the best investment we can have is in ourselves, right? Because, you can do courses and things like that just to learn strategies and tactics and tools. But if we don't fix our mindset and really do things like that and work on our shadow selves and these other things that are in the subconscious or in the background of ourselves that we don't not necessarily conscious about on a general sense, then that's going to be the stuff that holds us back to really live the life that we want to live.
100%. I always say this to my clients as well, and it's about applying what it is that you've learnt about yourself as well. So for example, I actually adore my shadow self now. I know who she is. She has another name. I call her out sometimes when she's acting out. And then I'm able to pull the reins on her and be able to self-regulate. So that's the most important thing for you to do for yourself. We all know we've got our ego side. If you know your ego side, do you know your shadow side? Your true self or your higher self is what I call that person, is definitely in the middle. She's meant to be in control. But if you're too emotional, your shadow self is in control. If you want everyone's approval, your ego is in control. So you want to bring that back into the middle. Yeah.
Very powerful. I love
that. And apply that, right?
Definitely. Very cool. I like that. And obviously this would take some time, right? To, I guess, integrate this, right? It's not like, oh, we do a SWOT analysis and, we're fully ourselves now, right? This is probably like an ongoing thing, or it would probably take a certain amount of sessions or time to really see some big improvements, I guess, right?
Yeah. I work with my clients for 12 weeks in terms of shadow work, but it's a continuous learning curve for each one of them, because not everybody applies everything straight away. Most people are too scared because they're quite fearful of the outcome, because they don't know what it is that they're actually meant to be feeling or thinking or seeing. So it does take some time, but as long as you start, that's where you know that you can actually help yourself outgrow your shadow self. Yeah. Or even learn to love him or her. We all have that side of us. So 12 weeks is the fundamentals of shadow work. I love working in 12 weeks because you honestly see your ups and downs in those 12 weeks, and to actually see your own patterns in those 12 weeks. And then you see the outcome of what you can do better. So 99% success rate. I think I'm doing something right. Yeah, I'm doing something right. But at the same time, my shadow work is ongoing, even though I'm a coach myself. It's always going to be ongoing for me. So there are moments where I would reflect and go back into reading the letters that I wrote for myself when I did my shadow work. But as long as you start, that's all that matters.
Yeah, beautiful. I love that. So like we said, just start. And I think, our own, coaches and mentors and things like that, like we are, and the ones that we have is obviously very important, right? So how important has it been for you, and what it's helped for you to achieve as well?
Oh, God. Can I just say, if I knew this earlier, that a mentor could change my life, I would have done it earlier, Athin. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I've never had a mentor until I was about 21. But even then, 21, you still don't know what you're doing or why you need a mentor for, because everyone was getting a mentor. So I wasn't so serious about my mentor at the time. It was come and go. 25 is when I started my own shadow work. I went to Bali for a year. I did the whole hippie thing, guys, right? I sold every materialistic item I had. I sold my apartment, sold my shoes, sold my handbag, went with one suitcase to Bali and went on a journey to really find myself. And along the way, I found witches, shamans, spiritual teachers. It was an amazing experience, an experience that I teach today in our world, because not everyone's going to be able to pack a bag to Bali and find themselves, yeah? So I bring those spiritual teachings into my coaching. If I never went on a journey to even ask for help, or to know that I need to do the inner work, my life would not have changed today. I've got 4 mentors as we speak, as a coach myself. One for business, one's an energetic healer, one's a Reiki teacher, one's in finance. So you can see where, because these people are experts in their field, I know that that's going to help me in my growth. If it wasn't for Richmond today and being able to understand the systems behind his business, I wouldn't have not made 100K in 75 days. In 8 months, I'm sitting on 280,000, just my coaching business alone. And that's something that I can say so loudly. And yes, I understand people can be like, oh my gosh, you're so conceited. But it's nice to be overly proud about your achievements in business, because you've had all these mentors along the way. If it wasn't for my energy coach today, I wouldn't understand that I'm actually an energetic creator. I'm able to manifest. I'm able to build my business through energy and how I feel about myself. Therefore, shadow work, right? So that always brings up my shadow work. If it wasn't for my financial mentor as well, I wouldn't understand numbers, Athin. Like, I'm not that Asian type of Asian anyway. But it's nice to be able to have these teachers and these guides, because they've been there before you have. And to be honest with you, if you see someone so successful at what they do, wouldn't you reach out to them and be like, hey, how did you do it? Teach me. I want to learn, right? I never knew I needed one until I was so serious about doing the inner work, and everything else flowed on. Yeah. So if you haven't got yourself a mentor, get yourself a mentor. It is the best investment you can ever do for yourself. And no price can ever be too expensive for a mentor. It is priceless. It is honestly priceless, Evan. Yeah,
I love that. Thank you for sharing, I guess, all those different elements of what it is, because it isn't necessarily just about business, right? It's about mindset, it's about other areas of our life, about numbers or whatever it is. And coaches and mentors, like that's what helps us to move forward, because there's no one that's like a self-made, 6-figure person, 7-figure person, whatever number that is, right? Because there's all these challenges. We need, and we could probably work it out, but it would probably take us 10 times as long to get there, right? So, and, we only have a limited time here on this, in this lifetime, whatever we believe in this world. So, we need to, I think, let's learn from people, make the investment in ourselves, find the people that we resonate with, that, we feel that can help us in whatever area of life or business that is. And then, okay, what can we do? Let's move forward. And then that way we're really living the life that we want to live, right? In that way.
100%. I just believe it's so important for anyone to have a mentor. And I hope that you find the mentor that's going to be right for you. I heard my clients before as well, investing in the wrong mentor, didn't do their research and just went for it. And that's something that we always can learn from as well. It's what exactly it is that you're actually looking for. If you never ask yourself what is it exactly, you're just going to have anyone to fill in that void that you're missing in the first place, right? So be specific, guys, and do that internal reflection and ask yourself, what is it that you need? So if you know what you need, you know what to attract. If we've got some manifestors and law of attraction people out there, what energy you put out, you're just going to get in return. And when it came to Richmond, he came up on a Facebook ad when I was in search for a business coach, Athin. Can I just let you know? It's so strange how this all happened, but I had a coach before Richmond and obviously it didn't work. And I was just looking for a coach. I just kept looking and it came down to two people where I was just about to reach out to, Richmond and someone else, right? And I'm in an RE, never reached out. And then I saw his ad pop up, like a sponsored ad. And I was like, okay, this is a sign, because I'm about to make my decision here, but I'm still umming and ahhing because I don't know what these people are about. He popped up and he said he was coming to Darwin. And I'm like, wait a minute. No one ever comes to Darwin. Why would you come to Darwin? Like, that doesn't make sense to me, because most business coaches would be like Sydney only, Adelaide only, Melbourne only, the bigger cities, right? Because Darwin's quite a small population, guys. No one's really here. We've only got 150,000 people at most. So when he said he was coming, I was so confused, and I was like, okay, this is a sign. So I booked a ticket, ready to go see Richmond, and COVID happened. I'm like, okay, this is another sign. Maybe it's not meant to happen. But what was so amazing in how he responded to everything that happened, especially during COVID, Athin, trumped everyone else in our coaching world. Everything went online. Everything went virtual. And as a coach, how important was it for us to do live seminars? It was so important. And when everything went online, I was like, this is my business, because I've been online before. I was an influencer. I was a marketing manager. All my marketing strategies were online. So why am I changing what I'm good at? So when you know that that person or mentor is meant for you because of exactly how you feel or what it is that you're looking for, just go for it, guys. I don't know if that was the same with you, Athin, but that's what really changed my world, in knowing that a mentor really understands the ins and outs of our world, which is so important.
Yeah, definitely. So many raising points, and to simplify it, it's basically having the clarity on what you want. So then you're going, okay, this is what I want. And then once you put that out there, it's going to come to you, right? You just got to be aware of the signs that are coming to you. And then, and then make that decision, right? A lot of the time it comes to making the decision. A lot of people are, a bit scareful or fearful or this and that because of past experiences, but you've got to trust yourself in terms of saying, this feels right to me. And whether or not you have to convince yourself, whether or not you have to convince your partner or your family or other people, right? Because that can potentially be part of it too. It's, that's what you have to do. And if it does feel right, go with it. Otherwise, you're going to just be sitting there and wondering, what's happening and not really moving to the place you want to be there. And I guess, finally, what one key piece of advice would you give to all the entrepreneurs listening?
I know that in business and when you're building your own business, self-doubt will always creep in. And I want you guys to really reflect whether if that self-doubt is you needing more information about whatever it is that you are needing to do, or if it doesn't feel right. And don't ever get the two confused. Don't ever get the two confused. I learned this yesterday, and it's so important. Your self-doubt isn't real. It's usually your external influences or your ego talking, thinking that you're not good enough to do something. But I want you to do your research and give yourself the confidence to do something before you don't do anything about it at all, and just make that decision, and just don't sit there for long, and just get it done. If it wasn't for my fearlessness, if it wasn't for people telling me I actually couldn't do something, I wouldn't be here today as well.
Yeah, I love that. Very powerful words, and definitely take that on, everybody. So, we initially met in a very random and extremely low probability way, where I bumped into you and my cousin in the city streets of Sydney, which is hilarious. And then after that, we bumped into each other in a Greek restaurant with our families, in Adelaide, in my hometown, which is hilarious as well. So it's just funny how the connections happen in the world brings you closer to people, and now our paths have aligned in a group, and we're on a very similar path to make a difference in the world. And you're an amazing and caring woman, who's here to serve and heal and ensure women thrive, in their higher selves, and can really have that success, whatever that is in their eyes, in their lives and businesses. And I'm very grateful that we bumped into each other and that we connected. And I look forward to working with you in the future as well.
I am so ecstatic that we are able to connect outside of our random bump-ins, Athin, to be honest with you. I still think that's hilarious. And now that we're a part of the same family as well, getting mentored by the same mentor, it's just extremely rare to be able to have this connection. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to come in and to speak about what is it that I actually do. A lot of people still don't understand that there is so much spirituality in business as well, not just business itself, right? So thank you for letting me explain and for letting me be open into healing. Once we heal ourselves, guys, there is so much success there for you to fill that space up with. So don't limit yourself in what you can do.
Yeah,
it's just so important, and it's a constant reminder for me too. Because guys, I'll tell you this: like, I wasn't successful when I was younger. Too busy caring about what other people thought. Too busy pleasing other people. Too busy making sure that they were happy before me. And that's where the healing began for me. When I realized I need to fill up my own cup before I can fill up my business's cup up. Yeah. But yeah, Athin, like, thank you again. I'm honored. I truly am to be the first point one is also being interviewed. So it's a start of real healing. It's a start of an opportunity. It's the start of real success. So thanks.
Yeah, awesome. I love that. And, thank you very much for your time today as well, Bettina. I'm sure many people have greatly benefited, from your wisdom. So how can people find you and get in contact with you?
So I'm on Instagram, guys, at MSB Banks. My website's bankslife.net. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you guys.
Love it. So thank you, everyone, for watching and listening to this show where we talk about everything on business growth. You can find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube as Athin Cassiotis, or visit my website, athincassiotis.com. I completely agree with you, or do I? The only way you know is if you tune in next time. So until next time, remember that our business grows when we learn skills and take action using them in spite of fear. Have a great day.